Hi guys, so I'm going to share what I wish I knew about how to focus and the things I've learned about how to focus. So being able to focus is such a big superpower. I really wish that I was able to knew some of the stuff that know now when I first started a business and when I was younger, because it would have given me such a huge advantage. But what if all of these really successful people who you admire, who are doing really well in life, what if they're just like you, but they just have extremely good focus? So I've recently just become extremely 10 times more focused than I have been before, and I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned about it. So one of the important things about being focused is what do you focus on? And you can't focus on everything. So you have to focus on some things. So it means most of the things you're not focusing on. So a big part of it is saying no. And then you need to decide what are you focusing on and then just focusing on it. I'm going to share like how that actually works in reality and then talk about how I use what I've learned about diet, exercise, content and sleep and mindset to get an incredible focus. So I can just focus so well right now. So if you're struggling with focus right now, you really need to learn how to focus because it's going to get so much harder with all of this new technology. And actually the AI this is what they're using in Instagram and Facebook to get you addicted to these apps. And they've found these shortcuts to addict you. And it's just going to get worse and worse. So you really need to learn this skill and you need to master the skill of focus. You need to conquer yourself. And at the same time, whenever you do better and better in life, you're going to have more and more opportunities and you need to focus more and more at each new level. This is what I've learned as well. So Steve Jobs says that a big part of being focused is by saying no, because it enables you to say yes to other things. And this is really important because you have to be able to know where to focus. So you need to have direction. And there's a great book that I really recommend called Outwitting the Devil. And in this book, Napoleon Hill, he wrote Think and Grow Rich. And he is talking about drifters. And drifters are people who don't really know where they're going to go. And they're just kind of listening to what other people do and listening to the world, listening to their friends or family. And just kind of, if there's an opportunity, they'll take it. And then if there's more opportunities, they'll take it. And they're just kind of like drifting through life, just like a boat is drifting through the ocean. And most people are like this. They're just drifting through life. They're just listening to other people and they're just kind of following along. But if you want to focus, you also need to have direction. You need to know what direction you're going to go. So you need to have a destination and you can't drift. You have to, so when you're not drifting, you're going to be saying no to many things that other people want to give you, want to put on you, want their expectations of you. You have to say no to most of it. You can't meet their expectations. And there's a really good quote I read somewhere, which is when you say no to other people, when you say yes to other people, you're actually saying no to yourself. So you have to say no to other people in order to say yes to yourself. So it's really important to have direction. And it's just like this quote by Franklin Roosevelt: to reach a port, we must set sail. Sail not tie at anchor, sail not drift. And this is really important because it's actually really similar to, I really think of it like being in a boat, because the boat is, sometimes you're going in, the wind is behind you. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you have to go against the wind. Sometimes you have to tack and go sideways. And sometimes if you want to get to somewhere where you want to go, you don't just want to follow the wind. Because if you follow the wind, you're just going to end up in a random place just by the wind. And most people are just following the wind. But you need to tack sometimes. Sometimes you need to go against the wind. You need to go against what everyone expects of you in order to get where you want to go. And this thing is really, really powerful. And so this is why discipline is really important. And some other things I've learned is as I've become more successful, as we have more and more opportunities, and I'm very able to see and understand all the opportunities we have, it's more and more important to say no because there have become more and more opportunities. And also another thing that I've learned is when you have lots and lots of work and lots of opportunities, there's normally 20% of the opportunities are like worth 80% of the revenue or 80% of the benefit. So it's important to try and cut out the majority of stuff and just focus on the 20% that is generating 80% of the returns instead of and just keep saying no to these kind of things. And it's the same thing applies to everything in life. It's just really important to say no, because you can't focus. If you can't say no, you're not able to focus, because you're always going to have this wind, or all these expectations, and you need to be comfortable with saying no. And just saying no is easy. Just say no. And such a classic mistake. But saying no's definitely can be scary. Many people may think like, oh, I'm going to lose this opportunity, or oh, if I say no to this opportunity, then in the future maybe I won't have as much revenue. What if these other opportunities don't work out? And that's a big part of it. You have to say no, and it's sometimes scary. Sometimes you have to go against the wind, and sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you may have some more free time because you've said no, but this is what it is. This is what it's about. This is what you have to do. Say no, and then you get this free time, and that's actually a yes to future opportunities. When you say no to something, you have free time, it's a yes to new opportunities. So this is a really good book that I read called Pumpkin Plan. In this book, they talk about how you can buy these seeds to grow giant pumpkins, and what differentiates, like if you have hundreds of pumpkins, what makes a pumpkin different? Obviously, people want the biggest pumpkin, right? But even if you have a blue pumpkin, say like, for example, if there's 100 pumpkins, you want to buy a pumpkin. If the average pumpkin is they're all the same, right? If I'm looking at it, it's all the same. If you're in some way what you are or what your service is, it's all the same to other people. Like, how are you different? And so that's why if there's a blue pumpkin, then, or if there's different, you have to be different. And that's why that has value in itself. And so even if it's the same quality, being something that is different instead of a commodity is just valuable, really valuable, because some people are going to choose it because they have a preference. And it's the same with us as people. It's really important to be different and to be ourselves, even just being authentic, but also just by being different has a value. And there's this nice quote here by how everyone is kind of not being themselves and they are going through life. But if you're actually just 100% be yourself, and you are who you are, and then you can attract and you will live your own life, which is an authentic life, which is scary because you're not the same as the other pumpkins, but it's your life and you're really living it. And so it's really important to have the courage to do that. And for me, I think that's really, really important. So a lot of people are struggling and have challenges because it's actually hard to upset people. But I found that one of the biggest hacks in being able to focus is just to move, just to get away into a different location. So I met a writer who would just go to a hotel and he would just write for a month or something, and there was nothing around him, nobody expecting anything. He could just write and there was no expectation. So I think for me, I've also moved from UK to China and then China to Dubai, and I've seen the massive benefits in moving because you're just in a new environment, and because when you're in the same environment, you have these habits and you have this way of thinking that is what you've had in the past. But when you move to a new place, you can think about, what do you really want? Like, what kind of restaurants, what kind of food do you want? What kind of apartment do you want? And you can just it's just a new start. It's a new situation, right? So you can just choose everything again. It's kind of much easier to start in a new location. If you want to make a change, then change your environment and you can just make a massive change. So this is a lot of people talking about monk mode, and this is what I'm going to talk about. It's kind of being able to focus. There's not a magic pill that you can take. I have to share that it's kind of the fundamentals, and it's not exciting. It's kind of boring. It's these fundamentals that don't sound interesting, but they are effective. So I've read these books by Tim Grover and Relentless and Winning, and in these books he basically talked about how Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were great performers, and then when they changed their diet, it gave them a massive improvement. It gave them an advantage. And one of the things that they did is no sugar, no bread, no alcohol. And I just thought, if these elite athletes are doing this, then I'm going to try it. So I tried no sugar for 30 days, and it was really good for a few reasons. One of them is just improved my energy, and one of the things I didn't expect was it just improved my sleep. I was able to sleep much better, and I could sleep faster, deeper, and then just when I woke up in the morning, it was just like a light bulb when I woke up, instead of just turning on, instead of just feeling a bit groggy. And obviously my body had lost some fat, and I just felt much more healthy, and my energy levels were much more stable. So now I can work the whole day. I used to get tired in the afternoon, and I think we just have so much sugar that's really bad for us. I tried bread because I think it's not high quality food. I prefer higher quality food. And then no alcohol. I just hate the feeling of being hungover and not being able to do stuff. And I don't really like to numb myself when I'm doing things. I like to be fully conscious. And then I'm just exploring caffeine as well, which is really, for me, I find caffeine challenging to, it gives you a boost, but then it's kind of gives you a decrease, and then you lose your ability, like you get used to it, and then it just becomes challenging. So it's much better to just, if you feel like you need caffeine, just to power through it, and it's much better. And then exercise is really important. Feel amazing after exercise as well. But also helps your body, and which makes you feel great whenever you do anything. And it just gives you amazing energy. And then one of the massive benefits is it improves your sleep. And then it also stimulates your appetite. So you just feel like when you've been working out, you want to eat healthy food. And I've been waking up at 4 a.m, going to the gym. And I feel amazing, very focused. Nobody's around. Can get loads of stuff done. And then in terms of content, what you put into your mind is so important. So I don't have any phone in the morning, just have a free morning where I can just, as much as I can, just be able to work without this distraction. And then it's just so distractive to listen to all of this social media, and just it's much better to create it instead of consuming it. Obviously, just before bed, it's also distracting. It's better not to have it. It's like not to have it as little as possible, and it helps so much with focus and sleep. And I believe that when you do not do these things, when you do not do social media, you sometimes may feel a little bit bored. And this is a really good thing, because when you're bored, you're going to redirect that energy into something much more productive, such as reading a book or doing some work or working on your goals, instead of just being constantly distracted by all of this nonsense. And then sleep is really important, but I find that sleep is something that is influenced by everything else, like diet, exercise, and content. So I don't know really how to improve sleep, apart from just having a nice bed, that's having a shower before bed, and then just having certain times. So I'm sleeping from like 9 to 4, and I find that works really well. And then if you have some people can't sleep because they kind of have some worries or something, but it's really important to deal with stress, which I find that exercise helps with that, and also writing about what you're stressed about can help you to relieve it, or just talking to someone about it. And then it's all about mindset, and when you feel tired, just to power through it, and just have this mindset, like never say I'm tired, always say like tiredness doesn't exist, I can I can do it. You can actually just take some pain and just work through it whenever you feel tired. And I love this mindset of being grateful and angry, because it's really good to be grateful for something, grateful to recognize that you're grateful for all of the things in your life, at the same time to be angry that you haven't reached your potential yet, and you're angry because you know that you can do more, and you are. And then these are the ways of processing, is like writing, relationships, environment, how you think about things is really important. And then so all of these things that I've done, it's really good. They have short-term benefits, but one of the long-term benefits is the most powerful, because over time these benefits accumulate. Just like Warren Buffett, he says that his wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest. And this is really true because when you've been doing these things for like a year, you can start to feel like, whoa, like really different to other people who may still be drinking, may still be eating not well. And then after 2 years, you just have these other benefits. For example, I can really realize that caffeine, how it affects me, how it makes me tired, and because I'm sleeping so well, because I'm exercising, because I'm eating so well, I know that it's that caffeine. I know it couldn't be anything else, but many people are kind of so many things going on that they can't pinpoint what is the thing that's causing them. So just having this clarity through all of these habits just gives a lot more freedom to understand myself and how I'm thinking about things and what I want to do and how I can focus. And it just in itself, at the same time, that's what focus is also, just having clarity of mind. And the longer you have clarity of mind, the more it benefits itself. You can start to think in clearer and clearer and clearer ways. The longer you do it, it benefits and compounds. And what if these guys were like you, but just with excellent focus? And there's a really cool thing that I've learned about, which is epigenetics, which is how you have you can actually turn your genes on and off by your behavior, by things you do. And I think that's really amazing, because a big part of you is actually can just change. You even think your genetics is fixed, but it's not. It can change. It has you can change who you are, but you can also, a big part of it is just your mindset but it's just amazing that you can change. And I think that we are capable of so much more than a lot of us realize. And when you push yourself, you can realize that. The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. Bruce Lee.